Hey guys, wkryder here. Today we're talking about is the AC-130 Overpowered, playing a little bit of Rush on Alborz Mountains. And of course this is one of the new maps, playing on a friend of mine's server, Miss Artemis, and I'll put a link to her down in the description. She's a very good Battlefield 3 commentator. You know, most of these female FPS commentators that like don't even play games. They like, you know, they set up their little camera and they do all these vlogs and talk about, oh, Call of Duty's coming out with a new map pack or whatever the case may be. But Miss Artemis is the real deal. She's as real as a female gamer as it gets, and she's always a lot of fun to play with. And if you ever realize that I'm not on my server, then I'm probably on hers. So I'll put a link to her server description down there as well, so you can search her out. And yeah, just a lot of fun. Anyways, is the AC-130 overpowered? In Rush, it is. I'm playing offense right now in Rush. I died, of course, as you saw right away, so I spawned in on the AC-130. This is the main cannon, of course, and you'll see here it gets really brutal this round. Now, the difference between the AC-130 in Rush and Conquest, I would say it's probably pretty balanced and maybe a little strong, but it's not overpowered like it is in Rush. Now, the definition of overpowered is open to interpretation. My interpretation of overpowered is the AC-130 in Rush is a game changer. Like, there's no doubt. If you have the AC-130 pilot, it knows approximately what the hell they're doing, as you see me single-handedly spawn camp these guys right at this moment. For instance, I'm hitting the select button, I'm realizing where these guys are spawning, and I'm just launching this main cannon into their spawn repeatedly over and over and over again. Every time these guys try to shoot me down with an Igla, I hit the flares and I'm able to continue on. See, this is a really nasty full-length gameplay of. I was in the AC-130 for about 2/3 of the game. Just you know, these guys were just not having a good time at all. And I have multiple gameplays like this where I get in the AC-130 main cannon and I'm just, you know, just destroying people on Rush. You know, with Conquest, where you have 5 flags, and you can really only visually shoot about at 3 of the flags. Plus, you get all the guys on the roads, and you know, transporting in between capture points and everything else. But with the MCOMs and the AC-130 on Rush, you're hovering around the MCOMs. You're circling them above, just raining down death upon everybody. So, you know, are there some solutions to this? Absolutely. AC-130 can maybe take on more damage per hit, you know, from an Igla or you know, a Javelin or whatever the case may be. I think probably a little bit better solutions would be to have maybe a Tunguska or a mobile AA gun, or even a stationary AA gun at that point, maybe on top of a mountain somewhere, to really help out the defending team. Now, the defending in the past has always been easy, but on these maps with the AC-130, that flip-flops and defending actually becomes a more difficult task than you know, than normally. Where, you know, if you're on Operation Metro or if you're on Scene Crossing or whatever the case may be, defending actually becomes much more harder on these maps than it was previously in B2K or whatever the case may be. So you can see here, it died once again, so I ended up spawning back into the AC-130. And you know, on foot, I actually had a okay round this game. You know, I guess I was being a little over aggressive on the ground. But as soon as I got in the AC-130, I was just having a blast. And now the AC-130 is a lot of fun to use. Don't get me wrong; it's an absolute blast to use. But it's very frustrating if you're trying to play defense. So I guess it really matters what side of the fence you're on. If you're on offense, you're like, oh yeah, the AC-130 is perfect. What are you talking about? But if you've ever played a round with a decent AC-130 pilot on the other team and you're defending, it's a bear. It's an absolute nightmare. It can make your rage quit pretty freaking easy. Now you can see here, I'm just, even with these trees, trying to provide these guys a little bit of cover. You know, I'm just hitting the select button, figuring out where they're spawning in at, and as you can see, I found out where they were right there, and rack up quick and easy double kills and triple kills and multi kills. I mean, it was almost nastier than an MW2 AC-130 at that point. I'm just really going ham on these kids. This was a little bit of lucky guess. I thought I saw some movement, launched one over there. Lo and behold, hits the select button, and look, the whole freaking team is spawning in there. Now, I spawned in that AC-130 a little late. There was already 30% down of health, so I took a last final shot there at 6%, hopped out, didn't want to take on the death. And of course I have all these guys marked, and I can see that guy behind me, but I was trying to take this guy out and then run around the rock, and that guy disappeared, so I thought maybe somebody else got him, but no, my mark or my spotting just wore off in an unlucky time. But usually I cut something like this out, but I want to show you guys the trip up to the third set of MCOMs. The third set of MCOMs are on top of the mountains, so I'd recommend taking a vehicle up there. It's a very long hike in between MCOMs, and these MCOMs are actually pretty far apart from each other. The Bravo and Alpha MCOM are approximately 85 to 90 meters apart, and as you can see there, I think I look over here in just a second and you see exactly how far away it is, but it's approximately 85 meters apart, so it's actually a pretty good distance in between MCOMs, and yeah, that's something that's also a little more difficult for the defending team because they have to divide their forces if you are arming both of these MCOMs, just like we did right there, and try to protect Alpha and Bravo at the same time, as well as navigating around these maps with pretty heavy diversity in terrain. So, but I had a lot of fun this round. Of course, PTFOing like always. The last set of MCOMs, I unfortunately took on a death here. You'll see in a second. The last set of MCOMs, I spawned in on the AC-130 paradrop, but unfortunately ended up on the other side of the mountain and ended up suiciding, and then I came in to try to help capture the last set of MCOMs, but you'll see here that the time unfortunately runs out right before I'm able to get over there. Now, one of the things that's most frustrating to me, and it still happens and I don't know why, as you can see right here, I'm shooting at this guy, a little bit of poor aim there at the beginning. I kill him, I'm reloading, this guy spawns in on him, and then that guy spawns on a dead guy too. So it was a little bit frustrating, and I know these things happen, but you know, whatever the case may be. As far as solutions for the AC-130 and overall solutions, I think really they need to either take on more damage, because I think it takes 5 or 6 Iglas to shoot it down at the moment, or really what you should have is probably more viable solution is have a couple more jets on the map, especially on defending. You know, maybe 1 jet for attacking, 2 jets for defending. That should be fair. Or even a Tunguska or a stationary AA gun should really help the cause as well.